You want to get me out of debt, and you want this thing to happen. Some of our people went off to East Africa and started working, some to South America and started working. We're on 5 continents of the world. One of the things about self-organizing, over the millennium, we had 72 hours of ceasefire and peacemaking. We said, okay, you can organize yourself around December 31st, January 1st, January 2nd. And we got to some people who are on death row in San Quentin. And they said, we'd like to participate in 72 hours of peacemaking. How do we do it? And we said, well, it's self-organizing. You guys got to figure that out yourself. So what they did is, number one, they got in touch with everybody. Everybody got in touch with a family where they'd killed somebody. They confessed what they did, and they asked for forgiveness. Number two, they got in touch with their own family, whom they had alienated or hurt along the way, and made their apologies. And number three, each one of them took 1 hour to pray for peace for the 72 hours. And all the guys on death row filled up the 72 hours with prayer for peacemaking. And this happens all over the world. Some of the people in Pakistan got together and decided to march from Karachi to Khyber Pass. That's 1,200 miles. It took 2 weeks. And they had Muslim and Hindus and Sikhs and Christians and others marching together, saying their different prayers and showing the world that it's possible for religions to be with each other.
If you're looking for miracles, it seems like you found them.
We found a lot.
Wow. So is there anybody that just out and out said, don't bother me?
Yes, and I'm not giving you any names. I know there's a camera on me, and I don't want to I'm in enough trouble. I don't want any more.
Well, I just can't imagine you being in any trouble. I have a difficult time with that. I want to mention before we close the show that we have your book here, which describes a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about here, The Coming United Religions, by the Bishop Swing. This book is available through the Connexus Press, and you can find it at www.connexuspress.com. That's CONEXUSPRESS. www.connexuspress.com, or you can telephone them at 616-682-9022, and they can arrange to ship you out a copy of this excellent book with a foreword by the Reverend Desmond Tutu.
Right. He's a good friend. He showed up at our first meeting. Been a great backer.
Did he really? Well, just the most beautiful introduction. Do you mind if I read it?
Sure.
Do you mind if I read it? Our home is heaven where God is. On earth, we learn how to discover home, and each faith leads its adherents homeward. We must learn here how to live together with those with whom we spend eternity. How can we arrogantly claim that ours is the only way and not learn to remove our shoes as we stand on what others consider to be holy ground, where they catch their glimpse of the eternal, the inscrutable, the holy, the compassionate, the gracious one? May the initiative described in this book succeed for the sake of all believers.
Desmond Tutu.
That is
right.
Powerful, powerful stuff. So this weekend, there's going to be a charter signing.
Right. It's taken us 3 years to write the charter. We've sat at a table. Every 45 days, we sit there for 3 days. It's been so boring and so exciting and such hard work. But what we've come up with is something different than the world of religion has ever seen. It's different than the 20th century. It's a 21st century document and an organizational design. And it's based on cooperation circles. So we have 75 cooperation circles who have come to Pittsburgh from all over the world who are going to sign this and take off. It's going to be very exciting.
And there's a youth group affiliated with this?
Yes, we have it's like a Peace Corps. We have different groups of young adults from various faiths who will be living together and working together in various parts of the world. It's called the Interfaith Youth Group.
And I understand that they're part of the program, and
right.
that they have events planned,
right.
cooperation.
Right.
Specifically, I'm thinking of a group from Brooklyn, New York.
Right. Yep. Yeah, they're going to be working in Brooklyn come September. They're here.
That's marvelous. That's marvelous. What is it that we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I think where you started was on the hardest question. What I find is that rather than when I spend time with Brahma Kumaris and Hindus and Buddhists, it doesn't destroy my faith. It doesn't water down my faith. It makes my faith very clear and leads me to dimensions of my faith that I haven't understood before. And what I find that dealing with people of other religions forces me to raise the bar. I think all of us have learned God through our tribe. And I think God has taken on a tribal persona. And I think we're going to have to understand God now at a higher level, that God is really the God of the whole world and the whole universe, and not just our little segment of it. And I think we're going to have to understand God at a higher level. And so rather than destroy faith, I think it expands faith and makes it more exciting. And rather than take me away from the Christian faith, it just makes, when Jesus says that he is the light of the world, I really see that light in a new way. When he says, I'll send you the Spirit who will lead you into all truth, I get very excited about that. That means all the truth is not here yet. We will come into new truth because of the Spirit. So I see lots of new dimensions opening up. That's going to threaten so many people. And if it doesn't threaten people, we're not on the right track. But it's going to be profound. And I find that when people hear about this, the first thing they say is, this is unthinkable. Then they say, well, it's thinkable, but it's not doable. And then they say, well, it's doable. And then finally they say, it's inevitable. And what makes it inevitable is that there's a sense of belonging to the whole human family, and not just our family of faith, but the whole human family. And we're going to have to learn God in terms of the whole and not just in terms of a segment.
You know, we were talking about grace and grace bearing out your ideas. You know, it's a line from a song that most Christians know, but I don't think much about, comes to mind. You know, the words of John Newton. He said, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me." But a line in that song, I think, pretty much sums up what it is that you're saying. "'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace that fear relieved."
Right.
How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.
When you're talking with a deaf person, if you use the word help is like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using the word grace, it's like that. It's the big picture where God takes you into new realms and new dimensions.
We're out of time. Thank you again so much.
Yes, indeed, Andrew.
It's such an honor to have you here, sir. I can't tell you how highly I think of you, your initiative. I just can't tell you how excited I am. We're going to be supporting the initiative. We have the charter signing is going to be carried on our network here, and we have also some other events planned, some other interviews with some other participants. We're looking forward to putting those up. But we have to go. Thank you all very, very much for being with us. Pay attention. Grace will show you the way.